Hey y'all! Welcome back to A Moment with Miranda, where we take a few minutes to reset, reflect, and remind ourselves that we are enough. Today I'm outside. It's very warm. It's beautiful. The dog might come over and try to kiss me or something. So just be prepared for that. I've had to restart this like 3 times because she couldn't decide if she wanted in or out or in or out or in or out. Today I wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind for the last 2 days. And done a lot of reflecting on it, and that's what this podcast is about. And I feel like it's something that maybe you guys could relate to. Have you ever heard somebody say that she has pretty privilege? Or he has pretty privilege? Doesn't discriminate. Everybody's pretty. For the longest time, I thought that I didn't. I thought that pretty privilege belonged to those people who had thin bodies, ones that you could see their abs and no chubbiness whatsoever. The perfect bodies, the ones that you saw in magazines. I grew up in the 90s and the 2000s. The ones that, walked into the room and everybody stared at them, not because they were wearing a red dress, but because they just looked the part. And I thought, little old me thought that if I would just lose enough weight, if I just put on enough makeup, if I changed the way my face looked, if I kept losing weight, it all came down to that number on the scale, that maybe people would listen to me, that maybe people would look at me like that maybe, just maybe, I would be enough. And listen, I've struggled with enoughness my whole life because I've heard things a lot where I am too much for someone. But I love my muchness, as the Mad Hatter says in Alice in Wonderland, which is one of my favorite movies, by the way. Alice, you've lost your muchness. You used to be much, muchier. And here's the funny thing. I know I'm enough. And here's what's even funnier. I've been losing weight, but not because I want to look a certain way. And I'm still not the thinnest I've ever been, but because I care about my health and I care about where I want to be. I feel like genuinely I am the prettiest I've ever been, but I am not the lowest weight I've ever been on a scale. And this realization hit me like a truck or a freight train. Zoom, I like trains. We all know this. And it wasn't because my body suddenly became worthy overnight. And it wasn't because I reached some magic number on a scale or I've been working really hard. It's because somewhere along the way, I stopped asking the world to tell me who I am and tell me what I needed to do. I decided. I know who I am. And I know what I stand for. I know the kind of person that I am when nobody is watching. I know the kind of person I want to be. I know the goals I'm working towards. I know that I've made mistakes in the past. And I own up to all of those. And I know the values that I refuse to compromise on. And I know that I'm enough. And I'm not too much. I love my muchness. And when you know those things, I just feel like you carry yourself differently. You walk into rooms differently. You make eye contact. I have struggled with eye contact my whole life, and I'm going to be honest, I still kind of do. But you make eye contact differently. You smile because you're actually who you are. You stop shrinking for other people to feel comfortable. And you stop apologizing for taking up space and being too much. And here's the crazy part. Here's the mad part. People respond to you differently. Not because you suddenly became prettier. Dude, I feel like I've looked the same since I was in 4th grade. It's because you finally believed in yourself and who you already were. That was hiding behind all the negative words and the voices and the stuff telling you who you are when that is not who you are. And when you finally believe that you already were enough, things get better. And I used to think that confidence came after people accepted me. No, guys. I realized confidence came first. This is not a chicken or an egg argument. Confidence has always come first, and then the acceptance follows. I stopped letting people devalue me. I've stopped chasing people who make me question my worth or who I am. And I've stopped trying to convince people that I'm a number or a value or whatever it may be. I am who I am, and I will walk into those rooms and stand on it. Because people who value you as who you are, they don't need convincing. And the people who don't, listen, they're allowed to miss out. And I think we've misunderstood this whole pretty privilege thing. Yes, society absolutely has beauty standards. Those are real. I grew up in the 90s and the 2000s and still growing up, even at the lovely age of 30. But there is another kind of beauty that is impossible to fake. It's the beauty of somebody who knows exactly who they are. The beauty of someone who isn't looking around the room wondering if they're enough. Y'all, we don't need to do that. The beauty of somebody who has made peace with themselves for all of their mistakes and all of the amazing things that they have accomplished and all of their values that they place. And that's magnetic. That's what people notice. So I've been struggling in the past, but I'm not struggling anymore. And if you're struggling right now in this moment and you feel like you are not enough, can we please talk about it? Because you are. Because maybe you've just been chasing the wrong thing. Maybe you don't need to become prettier. Maybe you need to stop waiting for permission to believe that you already are. Because, baby, you're beautiful. And you don't become beautiful when someone else notices you. You become beautiful the moment you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, I am. And you notice yourself. So, if you're listening to this, listen, you're beautiful, you're strong, you're brave, you're all the things that you want to be in life. And I want so much for you. And I want you to be too much because we love your muchness. And you have pretty privilege. You just have to accept it. So thank you for spending this moment with me. And remember, you were always enough, babe. Always. Mwah.